to be a member of a church if you're a social drinker. Nothing ever good come out of a liquor bottle. Every drunk in the world started out a social drinker. And I don't care if every church in this state says it's all right. I know what that Bible says. It's a fool. It'll make a fool out of you.
Well, if you're like me, raised up in the Southern Baptist Church, then you've been told all your life that there's a devil in every bottle. And if you drink it, the devil will get you. And it's just terrible to drink any alcohol because, after all, in the Bible, it was only grape juice. Okay, so we're going to talk about that and see where it goes. Okay. Generally speaking, these are the kind of verses from the Bible that the teetotalers will throw at you when they're trying to convince you that alcohol is intrinsically evil and devilish. And I'll just read them here. Romans 13 through 14. Let us behave decently as in the daytime, not in carousing and drunkenness. Then there's Proverbs from the Old Testament. Wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler, and whosoever is led astray by it is not wise. And then 1 Thessalonians 5, 6 through 8. So then let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober, for those who sleep at night and those who get drunk at night. I didn't read that correctly, but that's basically what it's saying. And essentially what you see in all these verses is a directive not to be drunk and to not let it negatively influence your life. That's what it says constantly. And can anyone disagree with that? Can anyone disagree with that? I'm certainly not. Getting drunk and being an alcoholic is not good. However, drinking by itself, in and of itself, I don't think so. I don't think the Bible condemns it at all. But, others disagree. You're constantly seeing the preachers telling everybody that it was not alcoholic wine that they drank in the Bible days, that it was only grape juice, and they spent all that time planting and tilling and growing grapes and squishing them just so they could drink some grape juice. Okay, well, let's just see what the Bible says. Let's look at John 2:11. That passage describes a wedding in Cana where Jesus, his mother, and his disciples were guests. When the wine ran out, Jesus performed his first miracle by turning water into wine. And if you'll read that passage, you will see quite clearly within the context that it was alcoholic wine that they were imbibing. And here's my favorite, Matthew 11:18 through 19. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he had a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. Now, if it wasn't alcoholic wine that he was a drinking, then why would they have called him an alcoholic, a drunkard? Duh. He's also saying there that it's how you live your life vis-a-vis your relationships with others that determine whether or not you're a good person. Okay, so now let's look at what this guy has to say right there. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like Mike Pence. It looks like he got a plastic face on him. They could make a movie, The Incredible Plastic Preacher, and he goes around, I will convert you. But anyway, this is what he had to say. Tim Shuttlesworth. I wonder if that's his real name, but Tiff. Oh, Tiff Shuttlesworth. Who is going to have a name like that? That has to be a pseudonym, man. No one would ever curse their child by naming him Tiff after a picture format, digital. But anyway, he says, fact, God has never made a single drop of alcohol. The earth has never produced a single drop of alcohol. 100% of all wine and alcohol is manufactured by fallen men. Nothing good ever comes out of alcohol. Now, he may be correct about saying nothing good ever comes out of it. That might be true. However, no, that's not quite correct. As we saw in the previous panel, You know, Jesus himself turned the water into wine, so there's God making it right there. But look, when grapes are crushed, they'll turn into wine sua sponte with no human effort at all. There's enough yeast on the skin of the grapes that when you crush the grapes and start to drain the juice out, it will become wine on its own, and you don't have to do one damn thing to change it. It will turn to wine. Also, and this is something I never hear anybody saying, and it's so obvious. Grape juice spoils, right? Like milk, it spoils. You're not going to tell me these guys spent years pruning vines and tilling and hoeing. And no, that's with the hoe, you get the weeds, not what you're, and tilling and cultivating grapes and you know, and they all did it just so they can squish all them grapes and drink some grape juice for maybe a day before it all spoiled. Yeah, right. Wisdom is proven right by her deeds, just as the Lord said. And I'll give you some examples here. I once knew a man who would evict people from the rentals he owned if they drank at all. He would go into their apartments when they weren't there and look for alcohol. And then if he found it, he'd toss you out on the street. If you had a sexy picture of a girl up on the wall, he would yank it down off the wall and tear it up. He was one of the most evil men I'd ever known in my life. Oh, but he never drank any alcohol, and he never said any cuss words. Oh, no. And then, you know, I've actually known people who would try to get people fired from their jobs if they discovered they drank any alcohol. Back in Ada, Oklahoma. Yeah. Or on my job as a teacher. Damn sure they'd do that. And then there are people who just get a lot of joy out of the thought that you'd go to hell if you drink. They just get off on it. Oh, that's just so good. Oh, I'd love to see you go to hell drinking that beer over there. Now, you tell me, who's the evil man? Wisdom is proven right by her deeds. Now, obviously, if you're an alcoholic and you can't keep your alcohol intake down to a minimum, then you shouldn't drink at all. Alcoholics can't drink at all. They can't. So if you're an alcoholic, you've got a problem, then don't drink. Obviously, duh. And if you're around someone who's having a drinking problem and they're trying to stay off the sauce, you know, don't order a beer or a drink in front of them and then drink it, you know, like, ooh, I'm drinking, you're not. Because it's going to cause them to fall off the wagon. You don't do that. But people, come on. Let's be decent. You know, I'll just never really get over people like that. I mean, I used to know these two teachers who would go on their break walking. They smoked, and they'd go walking around in the neighborhoods out on the sidewalk smoking so that they could, you know, get a smoke during the day because you couldn't smoke on campus. Well, people from the houses would call the principal demanding that those teachers get fired because they were drinking or they were smoking a cigarette. It's the same attitude. It's, wisdom is proven right by her deeds. Evil people will take what is right and use it rather than to edify people. They will use it as a weapon to destroy people. Wisdom is proven right by her deeds.
Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me two margaritas, I'ma give you some head. Give me three margaritas, I'ma put it in my puss. Give me four margaritas, I'ma put it in my tush. Give me five margaritas, I'ma get some fun. Give me five margaritas.